Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got about 60 seconds here, and we still have a couple people joining, so I'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll call the meeting to order. Okay, I'll call the City Council joint work session with the Native Village of Eyak Tribal Council to order April 16th, 2020 at 3 p.m. And City Clerk, if you could call the roll for the City Council.
Sure. Mayor Copeland,
Here?
Tom Baylor,
Here.
Kathy Sherman,
Here.
Jeff Guard,
Here.
Melina Meyer,
Here.
Ann Schaefer,
Here.
David Allison,
Here.
and David Gleason.
Here.
That's quorum of council.
Okay, thank you. Chairman Olson?
Thank you, Mayor Copeland. Tom Anderson. Tom does not look like he's on yet. Pam Smith.
Here.
Raven Cunningham.
Present.
Okay. And Jack Hopkins, we assigned Jack Hopkins. He was not going to attend today. He's attending another teleconference for us on behalf of NVE. So we have 3 out of 5 council members present.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Olson. The first work session topic is to share ideas for working together and sharing resources during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. And I would just open the floor to City Council if you have any questions or comments.
Mayor Copeland?
Chairman Olson.
Yes, this is Daryl Olson. The tribal council, we meet every day at 1 o'clock, and what we were wondering if it would be possible if we could postpone this work session until Monday at 3 o'clock. We have been working on some issues, and we would be prepared to present them on Monday.
Okay. What is the will of City Council?
This is Melina.
Vice Chairman Meyer.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with postponing until Monday. It would be nice to hear from maybe the city manager, and maybe even I don't know if you guys are ready or not, but just about what has been done since the last week that we had a joint meeting, or someone who just update us on what has been happening in the last week since our last joint meeting.
Bert, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks, Helen. The reason why the council wants to postpone till Monday is Helen and I and legal have been working on 3 issues, 3 projects we want to work together on, and we're just not ready to present it to the council. So we don't want to waste your guys, for lack of a better word, council's time and having a meeting that really isn't going to be productive. And we think we're going to be ready by Monday to present the 3 items that we're working together on. Helen, you can add more if you want.
So Bert and NVE legal counsel and myself and our legal counsel met yesterday, and I know the day before that, the 2 legal counsels met together to kind of understand the various navigational tools that are needed to help us work through the structures that we are working within and that impede us or help us along. So I know that meeting happened and they have a good lay of the land there. And then yesterday, as Bert was suggesting, there were 3 issues that NVE was interested in considering, and we worked through to pretty close solutions on how to approach those. And I think they can, several of those things can be done within the task force structure. But certainly there's a need to understand where we're coming from. So I would say there's no obstacles. We're working definitely full steam ahead to try to figure out some solutions. So Monday's fine.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, yes, that was just a good update of hearing that the work has continued. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Meyer. Was that Councilman Baylor?
No, Councilman Gleason. I just had a question. I do any of those things that Bert and Helen are working out, do they have anything to do with the amended Alaska Small Community Emergency Travel Order? Because we were going to try to discuss items on that order that might be valuable in the, in the fashion of a mandate, like the face mask and stuff like that. I was wondering if, I thought we were going to be talking about that today also.
Bert, I don't know. I'm perfectly comfortable sharing the 3 items that you guys brought to the table. Not necessarily a solution yet, because I know there's a couple things we're still working on, but where do you guys stand on that? I'll defer.
I think you're fine sharing the 3 items. We just so everybody knows, we just can't go into more, we just can't answer questions, and that's why we're hesitant to share it, is because we want to be able to answer the questions to the best we can, and it's too early for us to do that. I think we've made a lot of progress with our legal, and I don't see any obstacles. I think we're just fine-tuning a few legal issues with it. Helen, you're welcome to share the 3 if you like.
NVE has certainly been participating from within the community, and now is really eager to start stepping up and participating with city directly on our COVID response. And I think they have some very practical solutions that they're looking at. We discussed how some of the community's needs, which are what are we doing at the airport and how do we adequately staff and man that in a safe way for the volunteers or anybody who's manning those stations for flights coming in. So we discussed that, and we're looking at solutions for that. There was definitely conversations about masks and other possible solutions, none of which were totally resolved. We also talked about how the hospital and the Yolanda Center could be more integrated in their approach to the incident command team and having a collective voice. But again, all of these things were conversations, and they didn't lead to any kind of real resolution. Not because we had any sticky wickets, it's just that there were things that we needed to kind of understand from each of our perspectives and get a place of solution figured out.
Yeah, okay. So that does answer my question, that at least some of it is related to this travel order. So if we're not going to be able to define any of that stuff today, then I'm in agreement that we probably don't need to meet.
Chairman Olson?
Yeah, we would prefer to postpone the meeting until Monday when we have more information to share. And we feel like we have all our bases covered.
Okay. I have, the city council has a meeting tomorrow at noon, and they're going to be working with the incident management team to, to kind of go through the incident management team structure and plan and kind of role definition of council's roles, different roles within the incident management team. And that, the incident management team is aggressively planning that and collaborative structures with NVE and the medical teams and so forth. If you don't mind, and Vice Mayor Meyer, perhaps on the city council, if I just kind of jump-started that or just shared the thought process a little bit of the incident management team for that training tomorrow, just to give the tribal council a little insight into that process. So, because I feel like to answer Councilman Meyer's question, Vice Mayor Meyer's question, I think this last week was real successful because we're starting to fall into the structure that was actually designed to work, where the policymakers said, hey, wait a second, the community and we as a council aren't getting the communications and the transparency we need to do our job, which is not necessarily to manage the incident, but to make sure that it's being managed well. And so that it was already a priority of the incident management team, but it kind of became the short-term priority. And meanwhile, planning efforts are continuing. But the way the incident management team kind of helps define those roles is that the incident management team defines objectives and those are, they have the SMART criteria, which they're specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. That's kind of the structure that they need to move very quickly and strategically through bite-sized pieces to get to the overall goal, which is to protect the public health. So objectives are real narrow in scope. They're specific steps like, okay, let's execute a communications plan for council and the community. They have an associated schedule and time frame, so let's get it done this week. And it's part of the overall means is an end to the overall result, which is, okay, we have a lot of talent and resources in the community. We need policy direction, clear policy direction. We need the resources to execute our plans. So the communication plan will kind of be geared towards, that's going to be one step towards that goal. And that looks like maybe coordinating NVE and your resources with the incident management team and then the medical resources and guidance. Then they need to be measurable. So how is the communications working? How is it performing? That's where policy feedback can help and what you're hearing from the community. And then objectives can either be short-term or medium-term. So an example is a real measurable, definable step might be, I'm going to speak at some conferences next year. That's part of an overall strategy, but it's a very measurable bite-sized piece. And so I think those objectives are kind of where the overlap is between, and the conversation lies between in direction from you, the policymakers, to the incident management team around the COVID response. I'm leaving normal day-to-day operations in city government and management on a completely different realm because the COVID response has a different structure. By city code, Helen has executive powers and authorities even over the council that she normally wouldn't have because of a declared emergency. And the council has to periodically reaffirm that role. But so those objectives are like, let's protect the community but err on the side of caution. That's what a policy statement looks like. Or this week we're going to implement the plan structure and make it visible to the community. That's an objective that the policymakers can say, yes, let's do that. And whereas a tactic, the actual mechanics, move this rock from here to here, or let's put this element in place at the harbor. That's really where we see the collective staffs, the incident management team, and also the other portions of the team, the Native Village of EAC staff and resources, the medical team and their resources, can dig in and say, okay, we need these specific things to happen. So the objectives, that's what they're in place for. But all those little pieces that make it happen. So anyway, that's kind of the overall structure, and that'll kind of be the foundation, I think, for the incident management team's presentation to City Council tomorrow. And I just wanted to kind of share that with Tribe. First of all, to communicate that the incident management team is very specifically looking at a structure that incorporates Native Village of EAC staff and talent resources, but in a way that gives you the full organizational authority and flexibility to be a part of the team and execute things that, frankly, as we've all acknowledged, no one organization has the resources to manage. So that's all I wanted to add as a statement, and I guess would pause for any questions and then get a consensus on if we want to reschedule the meeting for Monday.
Mayor Copeland, this is Chairman Olson. I was going to request, after you meet with them tomorrow, could we get an updated organization chart for that team?
Absolutely. I'll just say there may be 2 or 3 drafts of it, because I know that in the incident management team meeting this morning, they were looking at various structures of how to coordinate that might provide some options within, the code structures and stuff we had. So absolutely, we'll do that, Chairman Olson.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll look to see what possibly employee resources we have.
Okay, great. Yeah, you'll get the current one to date tomorrow, and then we can discuss from there. So,
thank you.
okay, I heard one councilman suggest that a rescheduled meeting would work. Is that a city council consensus, or?
Allison, I'm good with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Gard. I'm good with it. One question: instead of scheduling for Monday, and instead of having to cancel because something wasn't quite ready, is this something we can just put on the board when we're ready, so we're not trying to push it too much, or in line with whatever? Just a question.
Okay, and maybe that's a good point, Councilman Gard, that maybe we just plan to reschedule it because something may happen between here and Monday that makes another time look better. So we can, Chairman Olson and I and Helen and Bert can keep in conversations, and we just have to make sure we have 24-hour notice on a special meeting. So, and I apologize, I keep having to relearn this process. I'll call off councilman one at a time to facilitate this. Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yeah, Monday works for me.
Okay, Councilman Schaefer.
Monday works for me as well.
Okay, Councilman Sherman.
Yes, but I'm going to follow up with Councilman Gard's suggestion, and that we already have a Wednesday meeting scheduled. Is that something that, is that time not good for the NVE council, that we couldn't just?
I can tell you I would prefer that, and I know the incident team, we're pulling them into a lot of meetings, time that should probably be spent on their actual objectives. And so would that, Chairman Olson, would that be possible?
Mayor Copeland, what we're requesting is just postpone this working group until Monday. We're not asking for a special meeting, just a postponement of this working group until Monday.
Okay. Would it be okay to have a work session on Wednesday?
I guess I want a clarification. Does council meet every Wednesday and every Saturday?
City Council has a regularly scheduled meeting on Wednesday from noon on, and then we had kind of penciled in Thursday at 3 p.m. for these meetings. I guess I'm hearing from some councilmen, and I know for the part of the incident management team and myself, we would prefer to try to have our meetings somewhat, coordinated so that we aren't tying up a lot of days of the week at a lot of different times. I know we all have a lot of other outside meetings, so.
Yes, and that's how we are also, but we just wanted, like I said, we just requested to postpone this working group till Monday at 3 o'clock.
Okay, that's a specific request, and I think we've heard from most of City Council on that. That's fine, Chairman Olson. Councilman Baylor?
Any day will work for me. If we can work it out on Wednesdays, that's fine. Otherwise, Monday works.
Okay, Chairman Olson, 3 o'clock Monday would work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, we'll get this advertised as this meeting is postponed until Monday at 3 p.m. And we'll look forward to getting together then. And I'm available between now and then, and we'll get that organizational chart to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, City Council, any other business before adjournment? Okay, Chairman Olson, do you have any other requests or comments before adjournment?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With no objections, this meeting's adjourned. Work session is adjourned.
Thank you all.
All right, bye, everyone.
Hey, you got a